Hi everyone, this is Nicole again. This is my second video on the Minimed 670G, and today I was hoping to talk about the two different modes of the 670, but also kind of the different personalities of the 670. Basically there's manual and there's auto, but manual mode really has two different versions. Manual mode without any kind of suspends turned on, and manual mode with the suspends turned on. And then again, there's auto mode. So when we're looking at manual mode, you have two options. You can either turn on your suspend before low or suspend on low, or you can select none of the above. What I have learned over the last couple months of working with my 670 is that these are three drastically different personalities, and you really have to be aware of which one you're in, and you have to adjust your behaviors accordingly. And I'll give you an example of a 15 gram of carb applesauce and what they could potentially do in all three scenarios. Very quickly, I'd like to say that the manual mode without any suspends turned on is the one that's most like the old insulin pumps. It's just delivering a rigid basal rate with your food correction, your food bolus and your correction bolus, but the pump is not doing anything on its own. Then you have the manual mode with the suspends where it is beginning to do some stuff on its own. So I'll start with the, so I did that one. Okay, so you have manual mode without the suspends. Then you have the manual mode with the suspends. You can either choose suspend before low or suspend on low. Medtronic, I think they recommend suspend before low in the beginning. So that's what you go into without even really thinking about it, or at least that's how I handled it. And my pump immediately began to do things that I wasn't really paying much attention to, and it did have some serious effects on my blood sugar. Not all good, but again, that was kind of user, I didn't know to pay attention. And then the last one is the auto mode, which is even more complicated, so I'll get to that last. So let's say for a minute that you have you have a blood sugar of 50. You have a blood sugar of 50, and you are in manual mode without any kind of suspends on whatsoever. You treat with your 15 gram of carb applesauce. In my case, my sensitivity factor is a 30, so I can expect, if everything is going well in the universe and there's no other problems, that my blood sugar should rise about 30 points to about an 80. That would be manual mode, no suspends. It's pretty predictable, right? As predictable as type 1 diabetes is. But anyway, now, if I go to manual mode with the suspends and my blood sugar is a 50, my pump has already suspended my basal rate. If you have pumped before, you know a suspend is a suspend is a suspend. That's hard to say. And that those suspends have long-term effects. So now my 15 grams of carbs that should raise me 30, it's now going to raise me 30, plus I've had no insulin for 30 minutes or 2 hours, whatever it's been. So now my 80 might end up at 240, or 300. I mean, it depends on what else has been going, if I'm having more carbs along the way. And then the last one is in auto mode, and auto mode's really going even further. So now auto mode is doing minimum delivery when you hit that 50, because it's decided that it needs to back away from the insulin, which is awesome. But sometimes it can do that for up to 2.5 hours. Minimum delivery is, for all intents and purposes, it is a suspend. So you have these prolonged periods where you're not getting any basal. Now you have your 15 grams of carbs, so you're starting to rise, which is similar to the manual mode with suspends on. But the other thing auto mode is going to do is it's going to also apply micro boluses, where it's going to try to start to counter that rise to help bring you back down again, which makes it like the mystery mode, because sometimes you're like, I have no idea now if I'm going up or down or, all around. So I don't want to bore people. My son's advice for this video is not to be as boring, but I do want to say that when you use this pump, it is a powerful, powerful machine, and it is amazing. But you really have to start right in the beginning looking at the different modes and what you are doing, and try to start tracking what kind of effects you're getting, what kind of results you're getting. Because in my experience so far with it, I have to change how I react to each individual situation depending on what my pump is doing in the background, which means, which mode I have it in. In auto mode, I hated it, and I was like, it's, running my sugars high, and now I'm starting to figure it out, and it just gets itself in over its head, but it's an awesome little buddy to have going, in the background. Okay, that was not 2.5 minutes. I apologize, but I will be back to talk about exercise in auto mode. Bye.